Let's say it clearly from the beginning. Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara have never officially said they are dating. Not once. Every time someone asks about their relationship, the answer is always the same. "We'll leave that to your imagination." That is all they say. But then something happens, and fans around the world start asking the same question all over again. One day, Riku Miura posted an old video of herself on Instagram. It was not a glamorous performance clip. It was not a perfect Olympic moment. It was a behind-the-scenes video from the Beijing Olympics during the 6-minute warm-up before their pair's free skate. In the video, Riku lost balance and fell in a way that could have looked scary in the moment, but later became one of those unforgettable memories only close partners can laugh about. And then Ryuichi Kihara appeared in the comments. His message was simple. "The way you fell was artistic." Riku replied with just one word. "Thank you," that was it. Just one comment and one reply. But in that tiny exchange, thousands of fans saw something much deeper. People immediately began saying, "This is exactly how a married couple talks." They are not officially dating. They have never confirmed anything romantic. And yet, around the world, fans keep calling them the ultimate husband and wife comedy duo on ice. So today, let's look at why this one Instagram exchange made so many people feel that way. In May 2026, Riku Miura shared a short video on Instagram. The post was not dramatic. There was no emotional caption trying to explain everything. It was quiet, simple, and almost casual. But the footage itself carried a lot of history. It came from February 19, 2022, right before the pair's free skate at the Beijing Winter Olympics. Back then, Riku and Ryuichi were not yet Olympic champions. They were still fighting their way toward the top of the skating world, carrying Japan's hopes on their shoulders. In the video, Riku was skating during the early part of the 6-minute warm-up. She was moving with her usual speed when suddenly, while trying to avoid another pair coming backward on the ice, she crashed into the rink boards. If there had not been padding there, it could have been much more serious. Ryuichi immediately came over, clearly worried. Riku got back up quickly and skated toward the coaches, trying to take off her jacket and hand it over, but she looked so shaken that she almost forgot where she was sending it. The jacket nearly fell, and Ryuichi quickly picked it up. That small detail made the clip even more human. It was not a polished Olympic memory. It was messy, nervous, awkward, and completely real. Riku wrote in her caption that when she gets too nervous, she forgets how to skate. Then she added a hashtag that made fans laugh. She wrote that thanks to this fall, her nerves actually calmed down and that it was Ryuichi's favorite video. That one line told fans everything. It meant Ryuichi had watched this clip again and again, laughing every time. Later, the two of them even talked about the video. Ryuichi apparently laughs whenever he sees it, saying it is funny no matter how many times he watches it. Riku, on the other hand, does not find it funny at all. And that difference is exactly why fans love them. For Ryuichi, it is a hilarious memory. For Riku, it is still a little embarrassing. One of them laughs, the other complains, and somehow the whole thing feels like a scene from everyday married life. Then came Ryuichi's comment. He did not say, "Are you okay?" He did not say, "That looked painful." He did not try to comfort her. He simply wrote, "The way you fell was artistic." That choice of words is what made the internet explode. It was teasing but not cruel. It was funny but not disrespectful. It was the kind of joke only someone extremely close can make, because he knew exactly how far he could go without hurting her feelings. That is not normal distance, that is trust. And Riku's answer made it even better. She did not say, "Stop it." She did not say, "Don't laugh at me." She did not ignore him. She simply replied, "Thank you." That thank you carried so many possible meanings. Maybe she was embarrassed. Maybe she was secretly amused. Maybe she was pretending to be annoyed. Maybe she already knew exactly what he meant. Whatever the case, fans could feel the chemistry in that one-word reply. The comments section immediately filled with reactions. People wrote that the Riku-Ryu married couple comedy had begun again. Others said, "This is literally husband and wife energy." Some laughed at Ryuichi calling her fall artistic, while others said Riku's simple "thank you" was too cute. The whole exchange felt warm, funny, and familiar. But why does it feel that way? Why do fans keep calling them a married couple when they are officially just skating partners? The answer may be in the Japanese idea of fufu manzai, or husband and wife style comedy. It is not just about jokes, it is about timing. It is about knowing the other person so well that you can tease them without explaining yourself. It is about understanding when to push, when to stop, and when one small word is enough. When Ryuichi says, "Your fall was artistic," and Riku answers, "Thank you," that one little exchange carries 7 years of shared history, 7 years of skating together, 7 years of training, traveling, struggling, laughing, and surviving pressure side by side. And the Beijing Olympic story makes it even deeper. After that fall during warm-up, Riku was trying to calm herself down. But beside her, Ryuichi and coach Bruno were talking loudly with high energy. Riku wanted quiet focus, but Ryuichi kept the atmosphere lively on purpose, trying to loosen the tension. It was not about who was right or wrong. It was about two people trying to handle pressure in different ways while still trying to support each other. That is why the Instagram exchange feels so special. It is not just a joke about a fall. It is a joke built on memory, trust, and survival. For husband and wife style comedy to work, 3 things are needed. First, you have to know the other person deeply. You have to know what makes them laugh and what lines should never be crossed. Second, you have to understand how the other person sees you. And third, there has to be a kind of safety between you, a feeling that even if you tease each other, the relationship will not break. That is why Ryuichi can call Riku's fall artistic. He knows she understands the affection behind the joke. And that is why Riku can answer with thank you. She understands that behind his teasing there is care. This kind of connection did not appear overnight. It was built on the ice, through falls, mistakes, injuries, pressure, travel, and long years in Canada. And now it appears in places as simple as an Instagram comment section, where the entire world can see just a small glimpse of their bond. But this was not the only moment that made fans call them a married couple comedy duo. On February 27, 2026, during an appearance on Mezamashi TV, another unforgettable story came out. The hosts asked them whether they ever argue. Riku said yes, but only over tiny things, like asking each other to take out the trash. Ryuichi added that sometimes they even argue about who should play the practice music. Think about that for a moment. These are Olympic gold medalists. They have stood on the biggest stage in the world. They have carried the pressure of an entire country, and yet their arguments are about trash and practice music. That ordinary side of them made fans laugh because it felt so real. But the best part came when the host asked how they make up after an argument. Ryuichi revealed his secret weapon. He said that even though Riku usually controls her snacks because she is an athlete, if he buys her freshly baked chocolate chip cookies from the supermarket, her mood gets better. At that moment, viewers could not handle the cuteness. Ryuichi knew exactly what would make her happy, and he admitted it on television with complete confidence. Then Riku made the story even better. She said that while they are arguing, she sometimes thinks, "I wonder if cookies are coming." That one sentence was too powerful. It meant she already knows his pattern. She knows that after a fight, Ryuichi might show up with cookies, and while they are still arguing, she is already waiting for the peace offering. Fans went crazy. Social media filled with warm reactions. People said it was too adorable. Others said it felt like a real married couple. Because honestly, how else do you describe two people who argue, know each other's habits, expect the apology cookie, and still keep moving forward together? That is more than just partnership. It is routine. It is emotional memory. It is knowing someone's mood, knowing their weakness, and knowing exactly how to bring them back. And that is why every small story about Riku and Ryuichi feels bigger than it looks. The artistic fall comment, the simple thank you, the cookie peace offering. The tiny arguments about trash and music. None of these moments are dramatic on their own, but together, they create a picture of two people who have spent years building a rhythm that only they understand. This is also why fans love the story known as Kahara Transport. Riku Miura does not have a driver's license. During their years living and training in Oakville, Canada, many of her daily movements depended on Ryuichi's driving. Whether it was going shopping or heading to practice, Ryuichi often became the driver. During a March 20, 2026 appearance on Tetsuko's Room, he laughed and called himself her free chauffeur. When the host asked more about it, the conversation turned to how Riku often falls asleep in the passenger seat. And again, fans immediately recognized that familiar atmosphere. It was not flashy. It was not romantic in a dramatic way. It was simple, ordinary, and deeply comfortable. That is the real reason fans keep watching them. Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara do not need to announce anything. They do not need to explain their relationship. They do not need to label it. The bond is already visible in the way they talk, tease, argue, forgive, and support each other. Officially, they are not dating. Officially, they are skating partners. But emotionally, what fans see is something rare. A partnership so natural, so warm, and so full of trust that even one Instagram comment can make the whole world smile. Maybe that is why we leave it to your imagination works so well. Because when it comes to Riku and Ryuichi, the imagination of fans is already full of moments like this. A fall called artistic, a one-word reply, a cookie after an argument, a free chauffeur in Canada, a partner who knows exactly how to tease, and another who knows exactly how to answer. And maybe that is the real magic of Riku Ryu. They do not have to say what they are. They simply show us what 7 years of trust looks like. And for fans around the world, that is more than enough. What happened next only strengthened the image fans already had of them. During that television appearance, Ryuichi shared a detail that quietly captured everyone's attention. He explained that Riku does not like being woken up by someone shaking her. Instead, when she falls asleep in the passenger seat, he gently wakes her with his voice. Think about that for a moment. How does someone learn something that specific? Did Riku tell him directly at some point? Or did Ryuichi simply notice it after years of traveling together, watching her fall asleep during long drives and learning what makes her comfortable? Either way, the result is the same. He knows exactly how to wake her without upsetting her. And honestly, what do we usually call people who know details like that about each other? Co-workers? Teammates? Those words suddenly feel too small. Most people would probably call that family. Some would even call it something more. Then there was another story that fans never forgot. At one point, a flight delay forced the pair to abandon their travel plans and make an unexpected 6-hour road trip instead. Naturally, Ryuichi was behind the wheel. 6 hours is a long time to drive, especially after training and competition. Falling asleep at the wheel was the last thing he could afford to do. So what did Riku do? She stayed awake beside him and sang. She later explained that she kept singing throughout the drive so he would stay alert. It sounds like a tiny gesture, but sometimes the smallest gestures reveal the most about a relationship. Spending 6 straight hours in a car is difficult enough. Spending 6 hours trying to keep someone company because you care about them is something else entirely. Moments like these are why fans use the word married couple. Not because the two look happy together, not because people enjoy creating rumors, but because they seem to understand each other without needing instructions. They know each other's habits, dislikes, comforts, and routines. When one struggles, the other quietly steps in. When one is tired, the other adjusts. That kind of understanding is difficult to fake. After spending nearly every day together for 7 years, sometimes more than 300 days a year in the same training environment, perhaps what exists between them goes beyond any simple label. Maybe it is something deeper than romance and quieter than public declarations. Maybe it is simply a bond built through time. Then came another unforgettable moment. On February 25, 2026, just one day after returning from Milan, the pair attended a major press conference in Japan. Throughout the event, they exchanged glances, finished each other's thoughts, and moved through questions with the same natural rhythm fans had come to love. Then a reporter asked about their relationship. Ryuichi answered first, "She's more than a teammate." Before anyone could react, Riku immediately followed. "It's more like family." The room instantly became more attentive, and then both of them delivered the now famous response. "We'll leave that to your imagination." That sentence exploded across social media because they did not deny anything, but they did not confirm anything either. They did not say, "We're only partners." They did not say, "We're just friends." Instead, they described each other as family and then told everyone to imagine the rest. Fans immediately started reading between the lines. Many felt that once you describe someone as family, the phrase "leave it to your imagination" carries a very different weight. Social media lit up with interpretations. Some believed the answer was obvious. Others insisted people were reading too much into it. But one thing was certain: the conversation was not going away. Even international media joined in. Several outlets openly discussed whether the two might be more than skating partners. Online discussions spread from Japan to North America and Europe. Everywhere people seemed to arrive at the same question: what exactly are Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara to each other? And still, the two never changed their answer. "We leave that to your imagination." Perhaps the most emotional moment came during an NHK special broadcast in February 2026. During the program, Ryuichi made a statement that immediately captured the hearts of fans. "If I were born again, I would want to skate with Riku again." The reaction was instant. Many fans jokingly called it a public proposal. Because when you hear someone say they want to choose the same person even in another lifetime, it sounds much bigger than a discussion about sports. It feels personal, it feels emotional, it feels permanent, and Riku's words carried the same energy. In another interview, she stated that she could never imagine continuing with another partner. On the surface, it was a comment about skating, but the certainty in her voice made people pay attention. Never is a very strong word, especially after everything they had been through together. Now that their competitive careers have ended, they continue moving forward as professional skaters. They still perform together, they still share the same stage, they still appear side by side, and yes, they still exchange comments on social media that make fans smile. One writes, "Your fall was artistic." The other replies, "Thank you." And somehow, that tiny exchange says more than 100 interviews ever could. Maybe that is why people struggle to explain their connection with words. Maybe some relationships are too unique to fit neatly into categories. Maybe that is exactly why Riku and Ryuichi continue answering the question the same way. We'll leave that to your imagination. And perhaps that is where the story becomes most interesting, because once they leave it to our imagination, all we have are the moments they have shared, the cookies after arguments, the 6-hour road trips, the gentle wake-up calls, the teasing comments, the inside jokes, the years of trust built through victories, injuries, heartbreaks, and Olympic dreams. When people see all of those pieces together, they naturally form their own conclusion. Another revealing story came from an exclusive television interview in which Riku recalled a prank Ryuichi played on her during the NHK Trophy. It happened during a competition, at a moment when focus and concentration were critical. Ryuichi apparently decided it was the perfect time to tease her. The details themselves matter less than Riku's reaction. While telling the story, she smiled. Then she laughed and said that maybe he could be a little nicer sometimes. That smile said everything, because when someone genuinely bothers you, you usually do not tell the story with affection years later. The fact that she could laugh about it showed something deeper. It showed acceptance. It showed familiarity. It showed that after 7 years together, she understood exactly who he was, and perhaps more importantly, she liked him anyway. That is the secret behind what fans call the Riku-Ryu married couple comedy. It was not created for cameras. It was not designed as a public image. It developed naturally over 7 years of shared experiences. Even reporters noticed it. Several journalists who regularly covered the pair later reflected on how much fun their interviews had been. They described the two as having an effortless back-and-forth rhythm that could make even serious press conferences feel lighthearted. One veteran figure skating reporter even wrote that their interviews often felt like watching a married comedy duo perform without realizing it. The remarkable thing is that this perception is not limited to Japan. Fans around the world have noticed the exact same dynamic. On English-speaking social media, comments frequently describe them as a married couple. French fans have made similar observations. Even people who do not understand Japanese often reach the same conclusion after watching their interactions. Different languages, different cultures, different countries, yet many viewers see the same thing. That tells us something important. Sometimes words are not necessary. Body language communicates, comfort communicates, trust communicates. And whatever exists between Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara seems to cross every language barrier. Of course, the two continue calling themselves skating partners, and technically that is true, but skating partners only explains what happens on the ice. It does not explain the grocery trips. It does not explain the 6-hour drives. It does not explain the cookies. It does not explain knowing exactly how someone likes to be woken up. It does not explain wanting to choose the same person again in another lifetime. Those things belong to a different category entirely. So once again, we return to the phrase they love using. We'll leave that to your imagination. It is actually a brilliant answer, because it neither confirms nor denies anything. Instead, it allows everyone to look at the same stories and draw their own conclusions. The artistic fall, the thank you, the cookies, the road trips, the laughter, the trust, the promise to choose each other again. When you place all of those moments side by side, what do you see? Only you can answer that question. Maybe that is exactly how Riku and Ryuichi want it, and perhaps that is why their story continues to resonate with millions of people around the world. Whatever name you choose to give their relationship, one thing is undeniable. The bond between them is real, and every time another playful exchange appears in an Instagram comment section, fans everywhere are reminded why they fell in love with the story of Riku and Ryuichi in the first place.